a jingle for our little show. I have special news for you all. It's Mighty Mary in the kitchen with you. We're going to do a fun redo on a recipe. So let me introduce you. We have somebody here that's going to help me do my recipe today, and it's Lindsay.
Hey everybody! So excited to see you guys. I'm here with Mary.
Yay! Usually we're like, not
miles
in the same
apart.
Room. We're a long ways away, but this is such a treat. So while we're doing this recipe, we're going to get so much great nutrition advice on this simple, easy recipe. It's a easy sweet potato brownie, and you could just leave the sweet potato part out when you introduce it to your family and your friends and your loved ones that you want to give a healthy treat to. It's so great to be able to bake and make nice treats for people, but to also know that you're giving them some great nutrition, and that is wonderful.
Yes, definitely.
I think you'll agree with
that.
Oh
yes, best of both worlds. It tastes good and it's good for you.
Yeah, so let me get started by introducing all the major players, the simple ingredients in our recipe, and then we'll show you how to do it and pop it in the oven and you can see the results.
Yes.
Let's get going.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I've kind of divided this down the middle. We have some dry ingredients and we have some wet ingredients. I'll start with the wet ingredients, which is mashed sweet potato. I just mashed it with a fork because my canned sweet potato was in chunks, and I'm sure, Lindsay, any sweet potato in a can, organic maybe, would be great.
Doesn't matter. Yep, anything will work.
Yeah. And then beyond that, I have 2 eggs. That's going to give it some fluffiness, some good lightness to it. And then the last 3 things are honey. That adds the touch of sweetness we need, right? We have some coconut oil. You could also use butter. We opted for coconut oil. Do you want to let me know why that was?
Yeah, so coconut oil, just for kind of like a vegan alternative. In addition to that, it's just a little bit more of an easily digestible and accessible fat for the body. So, but you can use butter or coconut oil, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I found a coconut oil that comes as a liquid form, which I love because it's so easy to bake with. These are each a 1/4 cup. It just looks different because of the size of the ramekins. And then some vanilla adds great flavor. Moving over to our dry ingredient players, we've got some almond flour. We substituted that out in the original recipe we found. And why did we do that?
Yeah, so, honestly, you can use oat flour, you can use cassava flour, you can use coconut flour. Kind of depends on your preference, whatever your goals are in terms of low carb or, getting into the gluten-free flours and stuff like that. But we used almond flour for the purposes of this recipe.
Great. And then the chocolatey flavor comes from this unsweetened cocoa powder.
Yes.
That's why the honey was on the other side with the liquid stuff. And then just 2 more dry ingredients, a 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So super easy, super simple. I have it all measured out. And then one other thing, maybe I can just show you, is I brought this pan and we cut out a little piece of parchment for it. Right, let me move my maybe you can help me move my wet guys over there, Lindsay. Yes. Okay, I want to show you this pan because it really made it simple when I was making these brownies. I drew a square. You'll see my artwork on the back. I got an A+ in art.
I love it, yes.
So I'm going to cut my square parchment a little bit bigger, about 1 inch going up on each side, and it really makes it so simple to cook and then release these brownies at the end of their cooking process. So I have that all ready to go, but I'm going to bring in a bowl, and will you help me dump all this stuff in?
Let's do it. I actually get to do some cooking this time around.
Yeah, I know. This is just great. I'll be the wet ingredients, you be dry.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. I'm starting with a medium-sized bowl, and I'm just going to go with my pumpkin puree.
Sweet potato.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry, sweet potato puree.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. Gosh, I'm glad you're here.
Hey!
I didn't know how much I was going to love you being here, but I'm loving it.
I suppose you could use pumpkin as well, though. I think it'd be something fun to experiment with.
You know what? It would be.
Yeah.
I just made a new whole new addition to this.
Whole new recipe, yes.
All right, I'm doing 2 eggs.
Awesome. And instead of eggs, you could use, for a vegan alternative, an egg powder, flaxseed, kind of whatever you prefer as an egg substitute as well.
Yeah, that flaxseed with a little bit of water,
yeah,
like really turns it egg-like right away. Okay, here comes my sweetener. It's a little bit of honey, 1/4 cup.
Yes, this is a great natural sweetener. You could also use agave. You know, just provides a lot of that antioxidant benefit in a sweetener as well.
Awesome. Okay, that guy is in. But wait, there's more. Here comes our coconut oil, 1/4 cup. And it's going to mix in so easy because of the consistency there. And then just by 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
Yes.
So I'm going to whisk that together. This is the fun part.
Mixed up.
I often like to break up those eggs first, but of course, I don't always do things the easy way when I'm doing recipe redo. That's the fun part.
Don't pay attention to what it looks like now. I promise it's going to look so much better when it's done.
100%. Wait till that cocoa powder goes in. Think chocolate, everybody.
Yes.
So you'll see I have little chunks of that sweet potato, Lindsay, because I didn't use the pureed sweet potato. That's just not what I happen to have on hand. I liked it after I baked it because it had kind of little chunks in it.
Yeah, it gives it some texture, which is kind of nice.
I pretended they were, chocolate chips or something.
Yeah.
So it was all good. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready for my debut.
All right, here comes Lindsay. Dry ingredients. Here we go.
Yes, so we're going to be putting in 1/2 cup of almond flour. Tossing that back in. It's a 1-to-1 substitute for regular flour. You can do oat flour as well, just a 1-to-1 substitute. Then we have 1/4 cup of unsweetened cacao powder. Maybe. There we go.
I got a little fork for you if you need it.
That works.
Okay.
And then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder.
Actually, quarter
Even less. Of baking powder.
But I think 1/2 would be fine.
Okay. And then also 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Salt. That's right.
And honestly, you could probably do without the salt if you're trying to watch your sodium intake. Just kind of adds a little bit more of that flavor as well. So let's mix those up together. I don't know, do I do as good of a job of mixing things as Mary?
Well, we're going to find out right now, aren't we? So here's the thing. When you're making these, don't over mix. You want to just get the dry ingredients to become wet. And that's all you need to make a perfect brownie. So and once you get everything wet, just tap off that spatula, and we're gonna drop it in We're gonna drop it like it's hot.
I'll let Mary take over the cooking now.
Yeah, we're gonna put the professionals back in here. Okay, we've got our 8x8, and I'm just gonna use a spatula to slide it on in.
Looks so yummy.
I know, it's super moist, super chocolatey, because that's what we're craving, right? But gosh, you saw what went in there.
And this recipe, you could toss any toppings, like walnuts might be good in this. Sugar-free chocolate chips might be good. We just decided to kind of keep it simple and not add that stuff in. But you know, nuts would be good. Yeah, any kind of like little toppings that you want to throw in might be a good addition.
Okay. And then the reason I use the spatula also, maybe I'll hand that over that way, was it's great to, at this point, spread it around. It's not going to change when, I've noticed when it doesn't change shape that much, it'll kind of keep these little swirls and divots, but I thought that kind of made it have a good look when I brought it out of the oven.
Definitely.
So I'm just going to get the chocolate off my hands. And I think we're ready to put this beauty in the oven.
So easy, Mary. I can't believe how easy it is to throw all those ingredients together. I love it.
Here we go. All right.
Let me help you.
I know. Oh, I had preheated my oven to 350. And I'm going to pop it in now.
And how long does this need to cook, Mary?
So when I did it yesterday, I did my timer for 25 minutes. It said 25 to 28. And I felt like I could have even gone a little longer, but kind of brownies, you always think of them a little undercooked. But I guess it depends on how you like your brownie, with that said. Yeah. If you like it more cakey, I would go on the higher end, 28, even 29 minutes, maybe 30. Awesome. But I'm going to kind of go in the middle of what I did yesterday. I'm going to do 27.
To talk a little bit about nutrition, of course, in some other previous recipe redos, you guys have seen, almond flour is a great alternative for that unbleached, processed flour that's in a lot of baking mixes. So using almond flour, you can even use oat flour, so ground up oats, or even just oatmeal in itself makes a good alternative. Kind of gives it that crunch as well. You can use cassava flour, coconut flour, and then obviously we're using the sweet potato to add that sweetness and also getting that like a lot of complex carbs and fiber in, so slowly digesting, keeps you fuller longer. So with that sweetness, you know, a lot of times when you eat sweets, you're hungry right after. You want more and more and more. So hopefully with this, it'll kind of fill you up a little bit better and give you that satiety you're looking for, but also that sweetness. So, and you'll also notice that there's no sugar. So we're using honey, getting the sweetness from the honey as well as from the sweet potato. So
yeah, and it's plenty sweet. It does a great job at it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, shall I show them the finished
Let's
product?
do it.
Okay, are you ready?
Some.
All right, so we've got a platter here of our brownies.
This is the finished product.
And these are the ones I made yesterday. They're not, when I sampled them warm out of the oven, absolutely delicious. I'm gonna break off a little piece for you to try.
Should we try some?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Honestly,
Isn't it
it's
good?
so good. Like, I'm really surprised. You can taste the cacao. It tastes chocolatey. It does not even taste like sweet potato at all.
No.
Which you would think it would. Very moist. 10 out of 10, I think.
Yay!
What do you think?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I give it a really high rating. There's just no reason to make a brownie out of tons of processed and, you know, unhealthy products when this is an option.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love having these kind of options in the kitchen.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to help you reach your goals, be able to get that sweetness craving out of the way a little bit. And, you know, like Mary said, this is something that you can take to like parties. We have holidays coming up. Just don't tell them it's a healthy alternative. They'll never know.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Just say they're easy brownies, not easy sweet potato brownies.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Probably, maybe there's some questions out there.
Yeah,
It couldn't be this easy, right?
Did you put any kind of oil in your pan?
Just the parchment paper, actually.
Just the parchment, okay.
And nothing stuck. I think the coconut oil I used, they just lifted right out.
Okay.
I felt like a professional.
Yeah, parchment paper is so nice to use for baking.
Yeah.
And I've also heard that it helps make it bake a little bit easier and better than putting like foil or just putting it straight in the pan. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course I'm not the chef. So.
Yeah. Well, I used to use that, like if you're buttering, flouring, then you're adding all that to your food too. So why do it if you don't need to, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Great question.
Jill said it's so fun to see you guys in the same kitchen.
I know.
It's so fun to be cooking together.
I decided to take a trip down to San Diego, so we're together for Mighty Month. We ought to do something special for Mighty Month.
It's a great way to do recipe video. And I could have never done those dry ingredients without Lynn.
I feel like I did some good contributing.
I think
what do you think? Yeah.
I can already smell the essence of those brownies in the oven.
Yeah, you guys have to make these.
Good.
Yes.
So everybody come on over and join us.
Lindsay, they're asking, where will this recipe be?
Great question. I will be uploading it to the recipe website right after this. So we'll post the recipe link in the communities, in the Nutritious and Delicious group. So keep an eye out for that. But if you want the link directly texted to you, just text your coach, me, or whoever your coach is, and we'll get it sent to you. So yeah, great question.
Another person's asking, can you add like a fiber supplement to this?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. I mean, you're getting fiber from the sweet potatoes, but it's only about 4 to 5 grams per cup of sweet potatoes. So not a whole lot of fiber, but you definitely can use, fiber supplement kind of depending on what your daily goals are for fiber. I think that's a great idea.
And that was exactly 1 cup of sweet potato in there, so that's a good calculation.
Yeah.
You could probably double it too, because it does make a fairly small. It's the 8x8 tray.
Yeah.
I think it would have been, some of those recipes you're always a little hesitant to double, but this one would have been an easy one.
Yeah, and it'll get eaten if you double it.
Oh yeah.
Perfectly fine.
We purposely didn't double it for that reason.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Recipe Redo. And we're so happy to be sharing our kitchen with all of you and with Lindsay. We might need to have her for every Recipe Redo.
Oh gosh, maybe I'll stay. We'll see. We'll see you guys next. We'll see you guys tomorrow for balance, but we'll see you next month for another Recipe Redo.
Yay!
Bye, guys.